You're listening to Inside the Minds podcast with Dante Marsh and Ryan Hyde, where we talk about sports, life, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
31-yard penalty to support pass interference call against the Lions this year. Nearly into the hands, and there's Dante Marsh with the block, and it's going to be a pick six for the veteran. 29th career interception, almost on cue. 80-yard return for the 10-year veteran.
Let me show you something, dude. This is my new conceal and carry.
Wow.
That's a 5-shot 22.
Seriously?
Yep. And then, hold up. I will show you this one right here. Oh, right here. This is a homemade Glock that I'm building right now.
Holy shit. Wow, that's awesome.
Not quite done yet. Hold on, check this out. This is, I just made these and completed these. This was an 80% complete. So I milled 20% of it, and it's got the
Holy shit.
This one was only 20% complete, and I milled all of it. And it's got a Generation 6 infrared fucking spotter with a digital scope.
Holy shit. Wow. Wow.
Because it's got a 3-point sling, so when you wear it, you actually put it over yourself like this around one shoulder, so it hangs like this. So when you need to be in a position, you just push on it and it goes right into position.
Holy cow.
And it's also got a peripheral scope on it. It's not meant to be viewed through to like see something with accuracy like that. It just puts a dot into the middle of your periphery of your eye. So you look at your target, and as long as you see the dot in the middle of your eyes, you're on target.
Wow. Holy cow. That's quite the collection, Jesse.
That's just a couple of them. I mean, I also have, this is one of my favorites. This is my Shield 9 Smith & Wesson. This is a 9mm, and it will fit into the small of my hand.
Wow.
This is called the subcompact.
Yeah.
The little Derringer I showed you, that's for down and dirty shit. Like this, about this far away from the barrel, it becomes inaccurate.
Wow.
If you were 3 feet away from me and I aimed this dead at your eyes and pulled the trigger, the chances are almost 7 out of 10 that it's going to miss you by a foot.
Wow. Jeez.
This is meant when you're in a desperate situation, it's meant to be pushed into the person or into the thing that you're shooting. So you're physically touching it, and then the triggers. You're basically gunfighters. If you look at old gunfighters, they punched the bullets. The way their hand motion was when they fire, they push their hand like they're punching. That's what you're supposed to do when you're handgun fighting. You punch. You like look at the person and you act like you're just fist fighting, and you fire when you punch. So that's kind of what you do with this.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then in handgun combat, this was the old way of holding your gun, right?
Yeah.
But if you're looking and if you're creeping, if this announces your presence before you're able to fire. Right. Now the new way is the gun is held here. The arm is placed directly almost under the armpit and held in tight so that your hand comes up under here. So as you're looking, eyes and weapon are at the same time. So now you're able to have eyes on target. If someone's coming in at you close, you have all of this area. Here you can get off balance easy, but here the person the opponent has to come all the way in, and you have all this as a killing zone. You also are able to free this arm while you're firing because you're already stable and rested. It also makes it so wherever I look, I'm on target.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't have to do anything other than, once I'm trained with this, it's wherever I'm looking.
Wow. So Jesse, you had said that you had took some training after the event in 2015. Did you learn some of these skills during that training, or is this stuff you had already known?
A lot of it, the best thing you can do for your kids is prepare them for the hard world, right? So my grandparents and my dad, I've been around guns my whole life. I was in Boy Scouts. I got my marksman's badge. I've always been a good target and always have been willing to like defend the home turf if need be. But the more specialized training that I've received, and the more, I'm actually, like, in a boastful way, skilled and good at some things that I would never have been even thinking of if it hadn't been for this. I have skills now that you would think that I was a veteran of a war. I've done real training and extensive because I started to like it and I'm good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's probably one of those things that you didn't realize you were good at, didn't realize you might have interest in until it was brought to your attention. Right.
Right. And in the process of seeking out the purpose of it, I've gained wisdom, so to speak. I didn't do it for the purpose of getting good at it. I did it because I was trying to negate or neutralize me being afraid of anything that could be associated with what happened to me in Paris. I wasn't going to be scared of being on stage. I wasn't going to be scared of the dark. I was going to have some ability to understand what's going on, all that. That was the purpose of it. I wasn't, the last thing that was ever going to become a symbol of fear for me was a firearm.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to take that away from me.
Yeah.
Just like nobody was going to take away my enjoyment of the stage. Never.
Hell no.
That's why
Absolutely
I was back on stage.
Yep.
The reality is bad people will do bad shit, and anybody who's determined to do anything will most likely succeed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they will. Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Is there a country you can think of where you could own crack cocaine if you got a background check? Or if you waited 10 days before you picked it up? Or if you locked it in a safe, your crack pipe in a safe at night? Or if there were school-free zones? No. It makes it's easier to get than anything.
Yep.
And we know the futility of the prohibition of things like marijuana. And in Canada, there are places where there's massive overdoses because the futility of banning needles and heroin seems to be futile. Yeah. And that kills more people than guns. So there seems to be a clear induced contradiction that I don't think most people consider if they follow their logic. Formula has to be true for everything. If you believe in something as a matter of principle, then it becomes a formula. And if it doesn't apply, then it isn't real.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so and this gun question that we're so straddled with right now, when we actually have bigger things to fry as a world, it boggles my mind, because we're saying basically there's a rash of these things happening that are awful, and guns have been the tool, and we want them to stop. Okay, how do we stop it? Okay, first, we'll start and exclusively end with a new law. But however, it's because of people who don't care about the law against murder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So someone who doesn't care about the law against murder and about the litany of laws that go into planning a murder, and then to the litany of laws against even thinking about using a firearm in a certain way, if they don't care about that, I find it very improbable that they're going to give a rat's dick about the illegality of their possession of the firearm. They're not even supposed to possess the thoughts. And clearly that didn't stop them. So who will be affected by laws? Only and exclusively the law-abiding, which are not the ones we're worrying about.
Correct. 100% correct.
So are we going after the law-abiders? Is that who the government's worried? These are reasonable questions. And when these reasonable questions to determine the sincerity of something are met with, then I really don't find it to be very worth a shit.
No, it's the people. We have to deal with the criminals. Some, the people they're planning these things. I don't know how we can do it, but it's definitely, gun
Well, I
laws are
think
not the
there's
way.
some obvious ones, dude. I really do. I mean, I think there are some that are so obvious. If we go back and look with an honest eye, let's go back to the Columbine shooting, because you could argue that that's kind of the first one that kicked it off.
Oh yeah, in a sense, yeah.
They were inspired by a particular movie called Basketball Diaries. That was their favorite movie. It turns out that was the favorite movie of all the school shooters at that time. And in that movie, Leonardo DiCaprio's character dreams about righteously going into his classroom and killing his classmates while wearing a leather trench coat with a shotgun.
Yep.
They wore trench coats and called themselves the Trench Coat Mafia as a result. They coordinated and synchronized the same Marilyn Manson song in their headphones right when they started. They mapped their school plan according to their favorite level of doom. Now, we can talk about the availability of guns to legal and law-abiding citizens, but it seems to me that rock and roll, video games, and music and movies had a little bit to fucking do with it.
Absolutely, they did. Absolutely.
And when you're telling a group of people, say like the transgender movement, when, let's be honest, in my opinion, and I will go ahead and say that my defense and my ally status with the gay and lesbian community will be unquestioned, because my first album is the Transgender Flag. We're the first band in the world to ever. However, when you start telling a group of people that aren't really trans, they're normally sexual deviants who don't have any form of operation, actually aren't attracted to a member of the same sex. They just are. When that person is being told that they're being abused and that they have a moral right to defend themselves and that those that are oppressing them are evil, they might go shoot up a bunch of Christian kids because they want to stop the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, when Joe Biden called MAGA Republicans a threat to democracy, within the next week, 7 people were murdered. 2 of them were under the age of 18 because they were out trying to register. And they were all done by people who said they wanted to stop a MAGA extremist. Those things have consequences. You can drum and get people worked up. And if you know it will, then you're responsible. I mean, what is an insurrection? Is it a group of people protesting about the validity of an election and going into a state capitol, or a bunch of people dressed as the opposite sex going into a state capitol and demand? I mean, quid pro quo.
Yep.
What is an insurrection? Normally, according to the definition, it's an organized, violent assault against a state and its entities. So like federal employees and state courthouses.
Yep.
You know, the big thing about social media, the thing that people were afraid of with Elon Musk, was that he was about to reveal the whole fucking shooting match. Why? It's all fake. Followers, the opinions that it seems to reflect, it's completely from design manipulatable.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that turned on Twitter, it's because they lost almost 2/3 of their followers, revealing they were all bots.
Yeah, right.
You know, when Elon Musk, he didn't institute a fee, he's merely collected a fee for the blue check marks, demonstrating that it was always bullshit.
Yeah.
It's an inflation tool. You can make it seem like the world favors your opinion when in fact there's just 6 people. It's 3 internet freaks jacking off in a fucking it's actually an old man on the phone sex line. It's actually a 42-year-old dude pretending to be a 12-year-old. It's actually
100%. 100% it is. Yeah.
That's right there. Everyone in cocktail conversations, every last one of us will say the internet's destroying the world without one deliberate, insightful conversation into what that actually means in a practical term.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. I mean, I know somebody firsthand who thinks he's talking to women through text and saying all these kinds of things to them, and he seems to think that, their replies is getting somewhere with them. I'm like, you don't even know who you're talking to right now. You have no clue who's on the other end of that phone.
Dude, you know how many
I would be careful with what I say.
It's so easy to successfully manipulate someone there.
100% it is. You could be talking to anybody, and you better be watching what you're saying.
And now in Canada, you have a protected class of people in the transgenders. And that's not even actual, it's just people who, anybody at any moment can identify and their voice can be shut down.
Yep.
That's insane. That's not freedom.
No, it's not.
And a shuckster with a good looking face and a propensity for blackface is what I think Trudeau is.
Oh yes, we've seen that. Yeah, we saw that.
And he learned from Obama. Stunningly good looking and deceiving and unbelievably corrupt. That's the only thing that progressive means. Our corruption knows no bounds and it moves quick.
Yeah. So quick that you can't even see it coming. Can't even see it going. It's just happened.
And half the time it's because you've been deliberately deceived into not seeing it. So it's not fair.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ban TikTok bill that's being floated around doesn't ever even mention TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I read it. It has nothing to do with anything other than being able to take over the digital lives of citizens.
That's crazy.
It's blatant.
That's crazy.
I mean, the fact that Bud Light lost $6 billion in revenue and they're not even really apologizing is bizarre. That means that somebody's an ideologue who doesn't give a fuck about destroying the ship for the. So are they agents of China?
Yeah, right.
CEOs of the major Fortune 500 companies where they put in place. That might be an interesting infiltration.
Yeah. No kidding.
Is that what Biden was selling? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But when we've been trained through the curriculums of our schools, starting at about, I don't know, 95, that everything about our countries was bad and we deserved everything bad and the good guys should serve the best interest of our enemies, what do you think is going to happen?
Right? Exactly. So for those who are listening right now, Dante unfortunately couldn't make it to the show. We were going to talk about, we were going to finish up our episode about the Bataclan attack. But we're going to put that on hold, and we are just hanging out with Jesse Hughes, aka Boots Electric, on a Sunday night, 9:44. Just hanging out.
Make sure everyone's feelings are okay.
Right.
The number one goal of everyone in the world is to make sure people they've never met's feelings aren't hurt.
Yeah. Right.
Unless they're Christians, and if they're Christians, F them at all moments.
It's just become so sensitive. The whole world is so sensitive. It's insane. It's crazy.
For the purpose of being a directed weapon.
Yeah.
Watching college students demand an elimination of a civil right is bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre, but I know dudes that like to get girls so twisted up that they will destroy their own best interest just to be treated like shit. People brag about that kind of shit. That's what the essence of a pimp is. The government becoming a pimp is not impressive. And watching our peers in the show business world falling over themselves to serve the agents of evil is just not impressive.
No, it definitely isn't. So what have you been up to, Jesse? It's been a couple months since we talked to you.
Well, I've learned about the mystery of the third ball. You know, there's a third eye. Well, there's also a third ball. It's like a third testicle. And if your third ball doesn't drop, that's when you're prone to toxic masculinity. And you can almost like, levitate around the mystery of the third ball. And at a certain level, you realize the third ball and the third eye are the same thing. So that's when you not only think with your dick, you can see with it too.
Wow. That's awesome. I actually went to school with a girl, speaking of third body parts, I went to school with a girl who had a third nipple. So we're sitting in science class and she's like, yeah, I got a third nipple. I'm like, bullshit, you do. She's like, oh no, look. And she lifts up her shirt and she has a third nipple.
I knew a
and
couple.
Apparently that's not.
It's called the vestigial nipple. I knew a dude with one of those.
Yeah, apparently it's not that uncommon.
People often think that it's evidence of evolution, that it's the echoes of having multiple teats from having developed, but it's clearly, quite frankly, a hiccup on one part of the chromosome, so it just kind of doubles apart.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind if I had a certain part that got doubled up, wouldn't you? I mean, that'd be fun.
Yeah, if it was like something that would make me live longer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I would imagine that if you had more body parts than you needed, something else would get used up.
Okay. Yeah. True enough. Yeah. I don't know if I want to live. I don't know if I want to live longer the way things are
Every
going right
used
now.
car I ever bought, the first time I started replacing something, it started working better, making the other parts work harder, which made them all break.
Right? It's just broken. Are you? I always wanted to ask you this. Are you in your garage? Are you in your basement? Are you in like a pool house? Where are you right now?
My living room.
Your living room. Awesome. Okay, that's a fucking awesome living room. That is an awesome living room.
I just got this guy right here.
I saw that. I actually saw when you were gifted that. Who gave that to you? Somebody knocked
friend,
on your door. Okay.
It's a bighorn. Those things are amazing, and it's a well battled bighorn. He's got the wear and tear from battling quite a bit.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw. It's pretty cool. What else do you have in there?
Lots of puppets, a lot of artwork, a lot of guitars. I have a human shrunken head. I have all kinds of shit. A mask of the Ayatollah Khomeini.
Wow.
I have my Richard Simmons head collection and all my. Dude, I raced in the Mint 400 this year, my second time, and the first time in the history of the race that the Star Car won.
Wow.
I was the last driver, and we won. So I actually get to, and I partied all night long, almost missed the race by showing up late, jumped in the car. We started at fourth place and caught us up and became the first time a Star Car's ever won.
That's awesome. Congrats, man.
It's hilarious that a dude like me would be a championship auto racer.
I got to look that up. I'm surprised I haven't seen anything about it yet, but I will definitely
very
look it
humble
up.
about it. And it's also kind of like unbelievable, but it happened.
Right? That's crazy. That is pretty unbelievable.
And it's given me the opportunity to have some outrageous ego moments of saying to someone like, "Oh, you don't believe I did it? I debate you, but I'd probably just win."
Yeah. So I was just telling my girlfriend actually a couple days ago. I don't know what made me think of it, but I thought of it and told her the story. My mom's great uncle used to go from Canada down to Mexico every winter. So he was a snowbird or whatever you call them.
Right.
So back in the 80s, he went down to Mexico for 6 months and he came back with a couple gifts for me and my sister. I do not remember what he got me, but I know that it wasn't as cool as the gift that he got my sister. And he got my sister a petrified scorpion in a glass fucking jar. And that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Yep.
I was like, wow.
The candy with the petrified scorpion.
I don't remember anything about candy, but just the petrified scorpion. And I was scared. It was dead, but I was like, wow. I was 6 years old, right? But pretty cool, though.
By my human head sometimes.
Right? Yeah, I would too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It has a sensation.
Yeah. I just started playing ice hockey again, Jesse, which is fun.
Awesome, dude. I've actually just started roller skating and ice skating again.
Cool. So when you're in Canada, man, we got to go roller skating and ice skating together, man.
But I want to play Broom Ball. I've been trying to find a Broom Ball league for like 2 years now.
I forgot about Broom Ball until you just mentioned that.
Fucking favorite things, dude.
Why?
It's such a rad game. It's such a meathead game, but it's actually, you're able to express all of your more primal tendencies in a way that you can actually not ultimately be a meathead.
Right? I don't even remember where Broom Ball originated from.
I believe it's Canada.
I think so. I was going to say Quebec.
I believe it's Quebec. I do genuinely believe that's where it is.
Yeah, and I think you're right. So how does someone like you end up playing Broom Ball is kind of where I'm going.
A very bizarre happenstance. An ice rink owned by Ice Capade Chalet opened in 1983 in the Palm Desert Town Center in the middle of the desert, and I ended up working there in 1988.
Right. You did tell me that story. That's where the LA Kings had their training camp, I think, with Detroit. You said they would play. Yeah.
This is the Bruce McNall era. This is the Luc Robitaille, Wayne Gretzky era.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to skate in a pickup game with fucking Wayne Gretzky when I was in high school.
That's insane. Didn't you say you were the
This
Sorry,
was
didn't
between 88 and 91. I got to from midnight to 6 a.m. for 2 summers. The Ice Capades had their show there with Dorothy Hamill, Liz Manley, all the greats of figure skating, and the true greats, the pinnacle in the 80s. And I got to skate with them from midnight to 6 a.m. and watch them skate.
Wow.
Watch Alan Thicke show up when he was dating Liz Manley. I mean, like, incredible shit. I became Dorothy Hamill's personal assistant as a result of that. I mean, it was just a unique moment.
Wow, that's awesome. I remember those names too. Totally remember them.
They were fucking awesome.
Yeah, they were. That's pretty cool.
That's my love for Canada. So many French Canadian ice skaters would show up that I grew this affinity for Canada. That's when I started hitchhiking to the Swanson Ferry to go to Victoria. I mean, like, where I became sort of intimately knowledgeable about Canada.
That's awesome. Did you we're gonna get to that Canada thing in 1 second. Were you not driving the Zamboni? Didn't you say that?
Yeah.
You were the Zamboni driver? That's awesome.
High school kids in charge of an ice rink in the 80s, not that smart. We used to have Zam surfing. We'd flood the ice and then we'd just drag people behind us on a rope. I mean,
awesome.
One time I got a little careless and I lowered the blade too much and pulled up 18 feet of fucking Freon tubing that we had to repair. They had to evacuate the whole mall. I mean, wild stuff.
Holy shit. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. I always want to be
witnessed one of the weirdest things. A little 2-year-old girl, her finger was snapped off by her dad by accident when he stepped on her hand trying to pick her up. That family came back a year and a half later and freaked us all out because the little girl held up her hand and her finger was there and it was like all back except for a little circular top that was still raw. And I thought they were like some sort of pagan idolatry, sold their soul to the devil shit. And the dad's like, no, we learned this too. But children up to the age of 5, they can grow back entire limbs. And it's essentially what stem cells are. Whatever the code was that told it to grow the arm in the first place,
yeah,
is still present up to 5 years old.
What? I've never heard that before.
You wouldn't, because it's kind of freaky and hard to explain.
Wow.
But it happened, and I saw it. Her finger had grown back, anatomically proportionate and functional.
Wow. Really?
Absolutely. It's just how people can have 2 sets of teeth.
Yeah, I guess
Body doesn't know that it's grown the teeth, so it sends them again.
Sends them again, yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. I remember my mom had false teeth when I was a kid. So obviously, she still has false teeth, but when I was a kid, she'd be cleaning her teeth. So she'd pull her teeth out. I'd be like, trying to pull my teeth out, and I never could. But it was fucking funny. My mom probably thought I was an idiot, watching me try to pull my teeth out. But, I was pulling on my teeth, trying to get them out to clean them. They weren't coming out.
Human body is a mystery, truly, in a lot of ways. That growing the finger back shit freaked me the fuck out, but it taught me nobody knows everything. And the aura effect. My grandfather had both of his legs amputated because of diabetes. And for a week after the amputations, the outline of his legs showed up in the form of a light aura on his x-rays.
Wow.
You can look that up. It's a common thing called the aura effect. And that's when phantom sensation ceases when the aura effect dissipates on average.
Wow. I'm looking that up. I just wrote that down. That's pretty crazy. So when you went to Victoria, did you venture up the island at all? Like to Fino, Nanaimo, Ucluelet, anything else? Or was it...
I love Nanaimo bars, so yeah.
Right. There you go. Yeah, Tofino for the surfing. Really, really cool spot. Everybody goes to Tofino. Apparently they get 1 million visitors a year.
Yeah.
So.
It's beautiful. Just the ferry boat ride with the fucking bald eagles and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen whales on the ferry before, which is pretty cool. Definitely step up.
Canada's the only place I've ever hitchhiked where an old man in a Cadillac picked me up and didn't try to get me to suck his dick or kill me. Actually took me to the ferry boat ride very politely and gave me lunch money.
Right? Yeah. That's awesome. Hey, man, we're pretty nice up here. I'm not going to lie. We're pretty nice.
And in a way, that niceness and trusting tendency on the part of the government has been taken to full advantage.
Yes, it has.
And also
Yes.
a simple ego game of you don't want to be like America, right?
Right. Yeah, that's right. So I started playing hockey again. I had a really bad construction accident in 2001. I'm pretty sure I told you. Can't remember if I did or not. I fell 45 feet off the balcony at work. Ended up landing in a wheelbarrow that I put there at 9 o'clock or 7 that morning. Saved my own life. Anyways, broken femur. I wrapped my left leg around my neck. My ankle was up here. My foot was here. I had 7 broken ribs, collapsed lung, and then blood clot in my lung that wasn't collapsed. So I was a mess. I should have died 4 times. Anyways, they told me I couldn't play contact sports anymore. So just this year, I just said, fuck it, I'm playing fucking hockey because I want to play. And I went out and bought gear and started playing hockey again. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I've discovered, especially when it comes to the medical community, that whatever they tell you is bullshit.
You would know that. Yep.
Yeah. It's bullshit. And they are going to try to err on the side of liability. That's the truth.
Yep.
So I've learned to be like, oh, is that what you think? I don't give a rat's fucking dick.
Yeah. I'm going to prove you wrong. Right. Or it's still possible.
I'm not going to do anything to prove you because you're a child sitting in my lap and I'm letting you pretend like you can drive. I don't give a fuck what you think about driving.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. How's Tuesday doing?
Next week, they're gonna they're gonna stand her up.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
They're beginning to recover her and actually believing in, because in the medical community, I've learned the only thing they're going to only do the very bare minimum for insurance. So if they're doing anything at all, it tells you they think it's possible. Right. The fact that they're even going to stand her up says that they know that she can walk.
Right.
And it's been a beautiful thing because it's the first time in a year to hear a medical professional, which was the biggest heartbreak because you always assume to be there, speak in terms of encouragement.
Yeah.
Because it has a psychological effect. I know in my heart what she was capable of doing. I knew she wasn't gone. I knew she could recover, but it does wear on you all the time when you feel like you're spending every waking minute just trying to convince people whose job it is to know exactly what you're talking about, that this person is worth a shit and worth saving. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any human is worth a shit and worth saving, honestly.
And it's been a learning curve, because I've been having great joy in all of her accomplishments and recoveries, but then I had no doubt. And holding someone's head underwater and then taking it off and going, congratulations, you didn't drown. I'd rather just have avoided it in the first place.
Yeah. 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 No kidding.
I'm going to write a book for sure.
You definitely should. Definitely.
I've learned a few tricks with these bastards, and I'm very proud that I penetrated the bureaucracy.
Yeah. How long has it been now that she's been in the hospital?
A year and 2.5 months. A year, 2 months, and 7 days.
Wow. I didn't realize it had been that long already.
But this is the girl they said would never open her eyes. This is the girl that the chief doctor took the unusual step of coming to court and saying, no matter what happens, she will be dead in 6 months because she is gone. The body will catch up. It doesn't matter what life support, it won't matter. She is gone. Whatever the person that was her, she's gone. Wow. We should give her some dignity. That's exactly what he testified. Knowing at the time, that the only reason she was unresponsive was due to the fact that he had her on 67 separate narcotics and muscle relaxers. Knowing that the only reason she would even needed a ventilator was because of the narcotics that he placed her on. That's like doing something to make a person mad and then telling that person that you only did it because they got mad.
Yeah.
The thing I did before you got mad is the reason why I did it, is because you got mad before. I mean, that's
a mind fuck.
That's gaslighting.
Yeah. That's terrible. That's terrible. I really hope that some heads are going to roll because of this, because that's terrible.
I can tell you this right now, dude. There's certain things I can't let go. The mistake of I love, this is the love of my life, and I miss her, and she's gone through something, she's a champion, but there were better things to demonstrate her championshipness, if you will. And this is actually just about me and my girl. And so I'm not going to let this go. Yeah. So my focus has had to be on just keeping her alive. That's been the whole effort. The system locked me up, made it so that this even was necessary, and just keeping her alive. And now that we're passing through that, as I get more time, I'm only going to focus on them, because I can't let it go. This has to come to bear. We have to come, they have to come, correct to the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
But there's also been these incredible moments that are so beautiful that you would never in a million years ever expect, kind of in a way like, I'm sure how there was an awful beauty in the mushroom cloud that the pilot saw as they left Nagasaki. An awful beauty. But when Tuesday and I, as we've begun the hyperbaric chamber treatment, there are moments where it's just she and I, and we're literally locked away from the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in this pressure chamber, and I can see, I'm the only one she responds to. She looks to me for everything now. All of her communication has been around me. And these moments of when she's looking at me and I can see, I know you. It is the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
It is. And the reality is that in the past year, 2 months and 7 days, every day I've been the best I've ever been as the result of necessity because of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I owe her. She, just by laying there, has affected a situation where I'm able to say I've been the best person I've ever been in my life. And
wow.
That's who she is. You know what I mean? That's how I determine my valuation of her, is in these types of things. She has an army of supporters so vast that they call themselves Tuesday's Army. And it's very humble and very, without much fanfare, but it's unique, and it's the result of who she is. Starting from the very first, when she was in the hospital, it was thousands of people a day called that hospital to say, we know who you have there, you better take care of her. And if it hadn't been for that, she might be dead.
Yeah.
That's not because of how wonderful anyone is. It's because of her.
Yeah.
It's because of who she is, And so yeah. My patience is at an end. We've been waiting quite a bit. We've taken quite a bit of a detour out of the sands of her life, and she's owed.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. I was going to ask you, before you just told me that, I was going to ask you what gifts, if any gifts, you were able to take out of this. And you just answered that question for me, I think, right there.
There's a variety. There's a vast wealth. I truly believe that, God never gives you more than you can handle. And however it feels like when you're able to be a part of something as terrible as this, it's actually an honor. And so I've always believed that, but the awfulness of it is irrelevant. And you have to separate that out for your own, in my opinion, for your own mental health at the very least, because it is awful, and you can't let that simple fact stain everything that'll happen from it, because that's called throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And I learned from Paris, which now I'm almost starting to believe that almost everything I went through was to prepare me to how to defend Tuesday, which really lets me know how valuable she is to God,
Wow. Yeah.
So I learned real quick that I wasn't going to make rock and roll something I thought was ugly because these dudes tried to stain it. So, and all the value and all the beauty that's come to me after that experience, right? I wasn't going to let anything take that away. So I carried that with me.
Yeah.
And I mean, the friendships, the example of how people should conduct themselves when they're looking out for each other. I'm proud of this. You know what I mean? It's something that is beautiful. The amount of sincerity and the way it should be done is incredible. And the fact it's a blessing and it's a gift that there is even the ability to see a light at the end of this tunnel, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a minute where I was really operating on faith alone. Like I had everybody in the world that was an expert in this area telling me it was over with, but I knew it wasn't. And that's when you know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
And you've never been in this tunnel before, you know? So,
Yeah.
but the fact that I was given the gift of even being able to have a light open up, all of these things are wonderful.
Yeah.
In their own little way. You know, beauty can be terrible. I think this is the lesson that I keep learning. Beauty can be terrible, and beauty can be so awful that at the same time that you are so honored and blessed to see it, you wish you'd never come anywhere near it. And it's this very interesting and enigmatic thing that's existing simultaneously, that in the same moment, in the same space, is fundamentally opposed to itself. But it's existing there. And you could even, you know, a person could go nuts just trying to figure out why, because there is no figuring it out.
No.
You know, that's the first bit of wisdom with things like this. There's some things you cannot know. It's not that you aren't capable or you aren't intellect. It's you cannot. It's unknowable.
Yeah.
And the pursuit of its knowledge is the fucking foundation of insanity and true lost psychosis.
Yeah.
Because it's subtle and it's functional. You're able to be functional in almost every respect. But this one little idiosyncratic, these things are important.
Yeah.
And I
Definitely
understand.
there.
I know this now. And I feel like I know a few things. I don't know a lot, but I know how important human life is. I know how fundamentally important it is to fight for it in the right way. These things I'm grateful for. And I'm still shaking and having a good time.
Right. I've got a contact through Instagram. Her and I have talked back and forth, and she's a fan of yours and has listened to all of our shows with you. And she had asked me a question to ask you. And the question is, between, you know, what happened in Paris and now what's happening with Tuesday, how are you able to keep going and keep fighting and keep pushing on? It's kind of a personal question, but who do you turn to, or what kind of help do you seek?
It's an important question. First of all, I have a personality type, and I'm fortunate to have great parents, but you know, it's undeniable on the surface some of the weight that I carry. But the glory for this really is not mine. God truly, and I mean in a corny, supernatural, spooky way, and by extension, you know, Jesus loves me. And as the result of my faith, for example, when Paris happened, instead of questioning my whole world, I understood bad people do bad shit. And if they're attacking me, then I must represent something good. So that can't be bad. I can't be sorry for that. And and the terrible do terrible things to the least deserving. So that I understood. That helped me greatly. Greatly. When I was in the Bataclan, when I was stuck on that stage and I couldn't find Tuesday, I prayed out loud. And I said, I was trapped on this stage, dude. You have to understand there was no getting off. There was only one exit and they had us pinned. And I was hyperventilating and I thought I was about to die. And I could hear the two dudes speaking French saying, let's get on stage and get. So I knew they were coming after me. I was freaking out. And I prayed. When I decided that I needed to go find Tuesday, I prayed the most weird prayer. And I said, Jesus, I need to get off this stage. I don't know what you're going to do for me, and I don't know how you're going to do it. And I'm not asking you to let me live. I'm just asking you to let me live long enough to get off this stage so I can find Tuesday, or that I can distract these fools so she can get out. And no sooner had I finished that than Boot, our stage, one of our crew dudes, he threw a drumstick at me and he goes, Jesse, they're reloading. And it didn't hit. And then I realized they were all reloading at the same time, and we got off stage. I wasn't hyperventilating. I had a peace upon me to go back into that. I'm the only civilian that went back in there with Eden Galindo, and we went and looked for her. I called on something specific. I asked for something specific, and it happened. You can determine what you think that means.
Yep.
But that's an interesting coincidence, right? So
yep.
Me personally, because I truly believe in it, that true faith and that true belief in it answers a lot of my questions.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not worried about some things. I'm not.
Yeah.
I have benefited immediately. Doing the right thing is its own reward. It is, and you have to understand that by doing the right thing, you're incurring troubles. In fact, I've learned that when you ask God for help, he sends you trouble. Think about that. If you're able to see the world like that, there's not much that's going to bring you down.
Right.
And the fact that I was picked on as a kid, I don't like it when anyone gets picked on. And somebody has been picking on my girl, you know what I mean? And somebody picked on us because we were rocking and rolling and dancing, and I don't fucking like it. And I take it personally. I fear, here's what it boils down to, brother. I simply fear God more than I fear the devil.
Wow. Yeah.
That's it. I'm more afraid of doing the wrong thing than I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that sums it up.
Wow. That's pretty amazing, Jesse.
And I'm not trying to say I got it all figured out, but for me, because I believe in God, I don't need to figure out a lot of shit.
No.
And I'm not trying. I never tried to go, why would someone do this to us in Paris? I've never tried to go, how could a doctor be like this? Doesn't matter. We could talk about, why would someone light a fire? Some people light a fire because they want the insurance money. And some people light a fire just to watch the fucking place burn.
Yep. Yeah.
So what does it matter?
It doesn't. And the fact of asking the question doesn't make a difference anyways, because it's happened, it's done, it's finished. It's irrelevant.
Idea, and I've also, this is a big factor for me. I've always endeavored never to be a why me kind of dude. I try to be a why not me.
Yeah.
Why not me? If we're all in this together and we all represent a society that has a fundamental good, and something is fundamentally attacking that, then I guess sometimes we may all be called to serve. And maybe I should look at it like, when it came to my time to fight, I went in swinging.
Yeah.
Like, why me? Like, why me? You know how hard it is for me? Dude. Ultimately, it can't be that hard to have lived.
Yeah.
To not have been killed.
Yeah.
When, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just reflecting on this, Jesse.
Can you imagine looking at winning as I almost lost?
No, I couldn't really imagine that.
Can you think about it? But that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yep, it absolutely is.
I mean, I can't imagine. It doesn't ever seem like John Holmes went, dude, I almost didn't have a big dick.
Right?
Okay, asshole.
Yep. Man, I admire you for that, for always having some humor to chuck in there too. I don't know if you're like that all the time, but I admire that.
This discussion right now, dude. I appreciate the ability to have had an opportunity to sort of like, you know, like get a shape for some of the things that I've been experiencing lately. And so I appreciate that.
Do you not, and this is kind of what I was going through my mind. Paris would have taken a lot out of you. A whole lot. Years, probably, of just, you know, thoughts. And now what's going on with Tuesday? You said she's been in the hospital for a year and 2 months and 7 days. Do you not just ask yourself sometimes though, like, can I please just have a timeout? And if not, where do you get your away time from this stuff? Because that must be difficult, because it seems to be ongoing.
You know, it's a couple things. I've been a hard acceptor of things because my childhood wasn't that easy. That a day off doesn't happen. You sleep when you die. People who are different get hit with rocks. If you don't want to get hit with rocks, don't be fucking different. I've always been a true believer in that. What my prayer is daily is just let me be good enough to do this. I stay focused on the fact that I'm getting to be the one that defends this angel right now as it relates to Tuesday. I get to be the one. I got to be the person that represented everyone that survived and did things that were heroic. I got to tell the story of people that jumped in front of their bullets without question for their loved ones. I got to see that. I got to witness the greatest love that you could ever show, is that you give your life for your friends. I got to see it happen before me repeatedly, and I got to share it with the world. And in immediacy, I got the support and the unification of an entire nation of people in France in a way that was unprecedented. And the whole world, through rock and roll of all places, got to see things done the right way, in the manner in which the whole community came together without any woke bullshit. It was all sincere. You actually got to see musicians and artists, probably for the first time in your life, being sincere. And I'm proud of that, because I was able to see that. Those in themselves become not escapes, because you're never going to escape this thing. You're going to either fight the current or you're going to surf the shit.
Yep.
And coming on my Instagram live and singing, I'm truly a dude that can escape into a song like it's magic. And forcing people in a way to control the environment. I go out, I've been singing every day for almost 2.5 years.
Wow. Yeah.
I might even hold a world record for the longest sustained consecutive care. Seriously. So not only have I improved my singing capabilities, but when I'm feeling weak or insecure, I do the thing that normally is the most insecuring to anyone: going out in front of an audience of people.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't see it as a fearful thing. I see it as an interesting and welcome constraint. Yeah. It forces my attention, and in that I escape.
Wow.
And I'm very grateful for this, because sometimes my biggest doubt has been that I won't be able to handle it, or that I might give out, before the task is done. And I don't, more than anything, want that. So whereas that's my only fear, I look forward to beating the bad guys.
Yeah.
I'm on an ISIS death list. There's a fucking almost $1 million bounty on my head to this day. And I look at it as something that's going to get me laid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And those assholes, these are the biggest, most evil fucks by definition in the world. And I'm someone they hate so much, they want awesome.
Yeah.
I guess that's why people like to be hated by Donald Trump publicly. Because there's some truth to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way because I got picked on when I was a kid and I would still fucking be the dude that would be a loudmouth. I cannot stand to let a bully win.
No.
And maybe I hate that more than I'm afraid of something. Just like a mom or a dad in a custody battle will do shit that sucks because they hate their ex-spouse more than they love their kids.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't love their kids. Probably love them a lot. It's just that they hate something else more. Like when someone says, I'm not trying to be a dick. So you're being a dick without trying?
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
You're so committed that it just happens effortlessly. That's worse.
Yeah.
If someone's in a public situation and they hear someone talking shit about a friend and they go tell that friend, this is what they said, and they don't have a black eye because they said nothing, all they're doing is delivering the message of the enemy, and that's worse than having been the one who says it.
Yeah. I never actually thought about either of those two things right there before until you even mentioned that. Like the quote of saying, I'm not trying to be a bitch, or I'm not trying to be a dick. I never even thought of that before.
It's the most impressive explanation for anything. I wasn't trying. I didn't mean to. Well, you don't mean to hurt somebody when you're drunk driving. You still get punished.
Absolutely. You
In
fucking
fact,
better.
More brutally and absolutely than vicious criminals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a reason that we all internally understand why that's true.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it don't matter what you meant to do. It doesn't even matter if you were, I wasn't trying to hurt you. Okay, I get that. But you know what you also didn't do? You didn't try to not be the person that would hurt somebody more.
Bingo. Yep.
When you live in a community and when you're trying to be a good citizen, then it's not about what you don't intend to do. It's about what do you intend to do.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you're looking through the course of your life and you're seeing a pattern of everything I'm trying to do, I never accomplish. But I seem to accomplish all the shit that I'm not trying to do consistently, over and over with accuracy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be a dude who tried to accomplish this and did.
Yeah.
And it's a simple little philosophy, and it's not that difficult, at least, to employ just to see what happens. And, you know, there's a couple reasons why people give charity publicly, because they want everyone to know how good they are, and they want the sensation of being a good person.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it exists in that. Imagine doing it for real. The sensation is even better.
Those that do it for real don't tell anybody they did it. They just do it.
The only true charity is anonymous. And there's examples from Jesus, has a lot of examples. When he was hanging on the cross, as the one who put him there walked by, he prayed for him.
Wow. Yeah.
That's called practicing what you preach.
Yeah.
Pray for your enemies. He preached that on the Mount. And then in the most dire of moments, in the moment when you would ever expect him to do that and wouldn't blame him for not, is when he did it.
Yeah.
So if he can, why can't I at least try?
Exactly. Wow. Wow.
The thing about heavy shit is that it's very simple. It's heavy.
Yeah.
But it ain't easy. Heavy ain't easy, but it is simple.
Yeah. Right?
Like, why am I dead? It's very simple. A 10-ton block of rock just fell on you.
Yes. Yep. Right? That just made me think of the Roadrunner.
And, you know, in those moments, the coyote, his problem is that he keeps asking the wrong questions.
Right.
He's insane by definition. It's like when someone gets attacked, say publicly in a big setting, instead of asking why would someone do this, it's a stupid question.
Yep. Yep. This is awesome, Jesse. I love interviewing you because I can just say one little bit and then you can just give me everything I need.
We have a thing, baby.
I hope we do. You mean a lot to this podcast, Jesse. I hope you know that. You really do.
Thank you, brother.
You're
this is a lot to me.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. I'm happy we do. Our shows with you we get the most ratings from, the most viewers, the most listeners.
Oh wow, thank you.
People want to hear you. I want to hear you. I love listening to you. I like learning from you because I learn something new every time I have you on the show.
Thank you.
And that's why we want to have you on the show, because you mean a lot to me. I thought your music meant a lot to me. It does. But Jesse, you as a person, you mean more to me. Just so you know that, man. You mean a lot.
Thank you very much, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
It means a lot to me, man.
Well, it's those times, you know, when you think that, man, I should have said that. I had that chance and never said it. Now, you know, I'll never have that chance again. Just say it. Especially if it's loving or happy or good, just say it.
You're that brother. This is why we get along. That's exactly kind of what I'm saying. You had a moment and you thought, what could I do to do the right thing better? Instead of, I'm not even thinking about doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I guess then it makes to me, in this corny way, the old adage, correct thought equals correct action.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Grandpa used to say, aim small, miss small, motherfucker.
That's awesome. It's pretty awesome, right? Always shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, every good negotiator goes, you always ask more than you think you're worth so that you can land about where it is.
Yep. Speaking of, sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
Go ahead. Speaking of what?
Speaking of your music, what have you been doing anything with music lately? Like new albums, working on anything?
Josh and I are getting ready to record the next Eagles album. He finished the Queen's album. So we're there. I produced the new Mickey Avalon record. I recorded with a Canadian band called the Standstills. I'm writing and getting ready to go on tour with Eagles of Death Metal in a couple months. I stay active, dude. Sleep when I die.
Yeah.
A Rolling Stone ain't about gathering moss, dude. It's about not taking roots.
Right? Exactly. So are you able to tell me when the new Queens of the Stone Age album is coming out?
Dude, I accidentally confirmed that it was even coming out at all, dude. And that got me in so much trouble. So how about this? I'm a nonconformist now. I'm a devout nonconformist. So if you did the basic math of how long it normally takes for an album to be released based on the moment at which you know it's completed, and I'm not saying when that is, but there are people that say that I did, then that's about when it's coming out.
Okay. That makes complete sense to me. Okay. Perfect. What about the Eagles of Death Metal album?
You will see that album out before the end of the summer, probably.
Ooh, awesome! That's soon.
And then I'll be recording another Boots album, and I just put Boots Electric into a more serious form, and I'll give myself something to live for, right?
Yeah.
Instead of giving myself something to wait for death.
Right. I would love to have a shout out on a Boots album. I don't know if you could ever do that.
This is my pledge, and I'm wearing a coonskin hat. That is my pledge. It will happen.
Oh, man, I would love that.
So
you don't even know.
Your partner will get a direct shout out in lyrical form.
Woo! Dude, that'd be insane. I would absolutely love that if you could pull that off. I did say Boots album because I know it might be a little harder on the other two.
No, it's going to be on an Eagles album, and I'll tell you why. Because one of my favorite things to do is exactly the shit you're not supposed to do. And my brilliance is demonstrated best by when I put into a clever lyric something that actually does something I said I was going to do before I wrote it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Trying to think. You got anything else you want to say, Jesse? You got anything you want to talk about?
No, it's so funny, but the moments I have with you and as well as you and your partner, we've gotten into discussions where I actually feel, what's the word I'm looking for here? Satisfied. No, it's not quite that. It's more like rectified or therapized in a way.
Therapized, yeah.
The rumbling has been sated. It's almost like, it's not like I don't feel like I have anything to add, or I feel resolved with something that we focused on and went after, and that's very rare. It normally takes, $18,000 worth of fucking therapy session. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people dance around it, and to be able to have had a place where I can feel the ability to not be vulnerable, but to be as starkly honest is awesome, dude.
I really appreciate that.
Part of something that demonstrates that it's possible.
Yeah.
And in fact, happening even as we speak.
Yeah. I honor you in the fact that you're able to show your emotions like that, because that's one thing, Jesse, that I can't even do with my girlfriend. And I respect your courage, and I respect, everything that comes with that, because
brother, that's something I've tactically employed, because we always hear, there's always these common bits of wisdom that when you hold something in, it becomes cancer. When you don't get shit out, when you don't let it, when you don't deal with it, those are all basic truths. Then I've looked at it like, okay, then I'm going to try to always deal with it as it's happening, and I won't carry it with me. And it pans out, when I'm feeling emotional, I'm less embarrassed to be emotional than I am worried that I won't get it out, and it will become something that lives rent-free in my head.
There you go.
Motherfuckers will drink water every day. People do Kundalini yoga. People go exercise, do spin, go to spinning class. They're taking a concerted effort to protect some element of their health, but they won't even take the effort in a day to deal with things as they come emotionally.
Yeah.
You don't have to not deal with something in order to get through something else. Because I know for a fact that even when I'm in tears, I can also at the same time be terrifying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You can come and walk at the same time, and even the worst blowjob is still amazing. It just depends on how you look at it.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I've learned something else from you tonight, Jesse. And that's just to let everything out there on the spot if you need to, right?
Try
it. Packing it with you.
Small. Take a moment where it's less for you to risk, and test it out. That's the beauty of anything that happens internally. Nobody even knows when you're trying it.
Yeah, right. That's true. Nobody knows. That's right.
And so you can try it out, and we take moments. You know what? I'm going to try out that new exercise. Well, fucking do it for something that's like that, where you are going to become expanded, and only you're going to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's reflected by the illuminated countenance, which is where the word Illuminati actually comes from. It's not a club. It just means you can see the light of understanding in the countenance of their very face.
Right.
They are illuminated amongst their peers. The bright one in the class, as we like to say, ergo bright, illuminated.
I was a little worried tonight, Jesse. When Dante said he wasn't going to make it, I was like, shit, I'm going to have to wing this. And I think I did a pretty good job. I think we did okay.
Excellent job, my friend. Hold on, let me let my cat in.
Please do. And bring that cat over here. I love cats.
Get in here, sweetheart. What are you doing? Corona's hilarious. She goes out. She whines to go out so she can whine to come in. It's priceless.
That's wow. My cat whines to go outside but never gets outside because she's an indoor cat. She likes to fight with everybody, so she stays inside.
Corona only wants to get into my bedroom so she can piss on something.
Yeah, I'm sure you've learned that lesson a few times then.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, Jesse. So yet again, we're going to have to book another show with you. We're going to have to figure something out down the road.
I'm down like 4 flat tires. Look at my new wine cork. Talk about craftsmanship that you never see anymore.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome.
I will try and shoot you a text one of these days, and see where we're at. We got
Send me
something
the
lined up.
link so I can post it on Instagram. I want to post these on Instagram.
Absolutely, please. Yeah, we could use it. Please do.
Yeah, I
this
want
is
to
gonna
be
be.
part of it now.
I'm gonna have it edited and up really quick because I don't have to edit anything. I could just cut, paste, and off we go. It'll be up probably within an hour.
Awesome, dude. Awesome.
And I will send you the link to your cell phone. We'll have it at that.
Awesome, brother.
Thanks again, Jesse. I really appreciate you coming on and always making time for us. It means a lot.
Always, brother. Always.
And please get up to Canada with Eagles of Death Metal or Boots Electric.
Oh, it's happening sooner rather than later.
I hope so, man. We got to get you back to Victoria.
It's happening, brother.
Okay. Thanks, Jesse. Take care. Have a good night, brother. Talk to you soon.
Rad. That was rad.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Inside the Minds podcast with Dante Marsh and Ryan Hyde. Check out our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter accounts to see our upcoming show announcements, links to our previous shows, and sound bites. And don't forget to hit that follow button while you're there.
Hey, this is Logan Bandy.
Hi, this is Zane Frazier.
This is Art Jimerson.
Chris Rainey.
This is Boots Electric, and thank you for joining me on my special guest spot on Inside the Minds podcast, where everybody wants to be if they're smart.
Good field position start, play action. Burris going to load it up, but he's short on the throw. Intercepted. Dante Marsh has his 30th career interception and a good return back into Ottawa territory. Well, the usually strong-armed Henry Burris comes up short.